9th is Arnold Tonus on the Tech Europe Suzuki. 10th is Jake Nichols. 11th is Harri Kullas, who we were just talking about. So good. MX2 get underway then. Into turn 1, and it looked like maybe Verbruggen up the inside. If that's the case on the JM Racing, the Star, KTM, everybody up through there, are they? Yes, over the first waves. And into the turn number 2. We've got Osborne in there somewhere. But it's Marvin Muscat, it looks like, or is it maybe Jeffrey Hurlings? Jeffrey Hurlings, possibly, yes, Hurlings from Brossard over the line, from dropped to 11th place, so not too much damage there for the Frenchman, but he's under pressure now from Harri Kullas. And we got a glimpse there just of the red plate championship leader Marvin Muscat in that battle just ahead of these guys here, Valentin Tellier and Harri Kullas. So Alex Lupino, 7th place, Marvin Muscat 8th, Jake Nichols 9th, Van Horbeek 10th. Just keep the momentum going to bring that Monster Energy Richie Yamaha down in 3rd place. Sean Simpson though on the Red Bull KTM, he's going to continue to push on it in 4th. Lap times were evenly matched on the last lap, 203.3 and 203.6 for Simpson. There is Van Horbeek. He's got Harri Kullas directly ahead of him, 151 on the Gariboldi Yamaha. So the young Finn then, Harri Kullas, whose championship season in 2010 has just been, well, pretty spectacular himself. Sorry, 5 seconds. Who's it going to be that gets the all-important start then? The drop as they head off the gate there. Ken Roxon was nearest the camera, and he's got a good drive there, coming right up the inside on the left-hand side. It's a drag race between him and Marvin Muscat, though. But it's Muscat on the factory KTM, his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings, or maybe even Sean Simpson around the outside. We've got Ken Roxon there in 2nd position, doing the David Bailey one-legged landing there over that tabletop. So those guys obviously been watching what you were doing back in the day, but we've got Carnage back as number 1, Marvin Muscat, just heads down the drop there. As our race leader, Kullas there in 2nd position. There we are, we were just talking about how consistent he's been and expecting him just to be a little bit further back, but certainly for Harri Kullas, this is the best start that we've seen him have on that Gariboldi Yamaha. Number 151, there he is. And this part of the circuit, very, very choppy now. Yesterday was a nice floating corner tabletop jump, heading down through the far end of the circuit. 100 feet double jump there, and about the same 105 feet. This one here onto that plateau, quite spectacular. And there you see the rest of the riders charging behind him. So there's Harri Kullas, and he's just coming over that way section.
That's going to be a real challenge. Longer races, I know they're used to that, but they're not used to the track here at Glen Helen, so I think it's going to be a real physical test.
Well, we're on board with Harri Kullas, who actually came out pretty good on this start. He just backed it off nicely, just took it in there behind the 94 of Ken Roxon. You see Hurlings out the way to the next turn after the jump. That's when we had all the carnage and caught out Ken Roxon, Jeffrey Hurlings, and Harri Kullas right there where he wanted to be. Two guys went missing. He inherited that 2nd position. He's still there now in that 2nd position, only 5.5 seconds down on our championship leader and race leader. Oh, and he's gone down. So just as we were giving him the big kudos, oh, and that looks like the bike's gone as well, so that's turn 1. Possibly, or is that the top of the highest point?
Head up the hill the first time, and right after the riders got tangled behind Marvin, and that really helped him. I mean, he's made it look easy all weekend, but to have those riders get jammed up behind him, heading up the first hill, it caused a little traffic there, gave him a nice cushion, but I'm surprised that Kullas was able to hold him that close. Marvin
must have been in the first race and in qualification yesterday, David, that he's just doing enough to do there. But answering your question a moment ago, you know, what's he like coming from the back? We saw him have to do that in Spain the previous race. Zach Osborne crashed in front of him on the 2nd lap, and they were both in 4th and 5th, with Osborne in 4th place. And they both went out to sort of 20-50 costly. Here we see Roxon gets a good jump, but Zach Osborne slightly better. But look at that, 8-9 guys down. We're on board with Harri Kullas. And that's Osborne just alongside him, and already Roxon's been squeezed right into the fence there, look, so he's already had to back off. And Marvin, look at that whole shot there, right through that gap, perfectly placed, and that's probably the reason why. Even a couple of KTMs in there as well. Hurlings, one of those. Ooh, I tell you what, that was mighty close. Between Sean Simpson, who has the whole shot, and Jeffrey Hurlings, and Roxon jumps alongside Stephen Frossard to take 3rd position. Coming out of that turn 2, turn 3 section. Range now for Arnold Tonus, and Christophe Charlier's found a way through on Sean Simpson. I was just a little bit confused there for a moment, but in blue on that black Gariboldi Yamaha, Christophe Charlier, the 2009 European MX2 champion. So he's now into 4th place because he's just found a way past Sean Simpson there in the background as he goes under the Red Bull Arch at the top of the hill. So Christophe Charlier missed a couple of races in Belpuch. He didn't finish the first one, didn't start the second one, a win in a second. Ken Roxon will be second overall with 41 points. Osborne will be tied 3rd at the moment with Stephen Frossard on 38 apiece. So Osborne needs to keep it on 2 wheels. Frossard, though, he's got all the work to do to try and close down Zach Osborne if he's to get on the podium this weekend. Osborne had podiums the last couple of GPs, 2nd round 6 at Glen Helen in the USA, his home GP, 3rd 2 weekends ago at Saint-Jean in France. And Osborne looking at making it 3 from 3, or 3 from the last 3 races at least, here at Teushenthal in Germany. There's Christophe Charlier having his best ride of the season so far. Down there in 5th, previous best for Charlier, a couple of 3 6th place finishes in Valkenswaard, Portugal, and Ken Roxon in his 2nd moto. There's Christophe Charlier, he's still there in 6th place on that Gariboldi Yamaha. Again, another rider, another team with the involvement of an ex-world champion, Yves Demarier. Not seen Demarier here this week. MX2 race 1 gets underway then, and Ken Roxon up the inside, pretty much out. Everybody lined up in qualification, but look at that, Marvin Muscan straight there, coming from around about gate 6. Who's that gone down? Oh, Jake Nichols has gone down, number 45 on the HM Plant Honda. So we heard him talking to Lisa on the grid. It will get through here on the approach to finish line jump. And there's Roxon up the inside of Christophe Charlier. Through the left-hander, this is where Marvin Muscan crashed yesterday. Over this camelback, caught that tough block going into the turn there, just by the advertising banner. And he went down, couldn't get that bike started, but Roxon being made to work very, very hard here in the early stages. That's Charlier, Harri KULLAS, sorry, 151. That's Harri KULLAS coming under pressure from Joel Roulants. So the young Finn, who's in 1 week time, we go to Sweden, which is the closest he'll get to his Finnish Grand Prix, which obviously we don't have on the calendar anymore. But hey, never say never, maybe one day in the future we will do. Talking of which, the 2011 provisional calendar is out if you want to take a look at it on the Newsstream website, which is www.motocrossmx1.com. It's quite interesting as well. 15th of May of October in Italy. And of course we've got many familiar circuits along the way that we're using in 2010, but we've got 1 GP in Brazil, and then we have 2 that are earmarked for the USA, one of those being in Glen Helen, and another one to be confirmed, and the Motocross of Nations on the 25th of September in France, and of course that venue still to be confirmed. But here we are looking at 151 Gariboldi Yamaha. Harri KULLAS of Finland, who takes the inside line. Roulants alongside him though on the Nestanjev racing KTM. Takes a slightly bigger leap and a slingshot around the outside as he... No, he doesn't, because KULLAS just moves gently out to the outside and protects that line going into that next left-hander as they both head down pit straight for their 12th lap of this moto. Let's go down to Harri KULLAS and Gariboldi Racing.
It's the first time Harri's been in the top 5. Did you expect this result, and is he going to be able to stay there?
Yeah, I think so. I think in this kind of track, sandy track, he can stay between 5 and 8, and now he's doing a great race for us.
Okay, thank you.
He is indeed hanging in there in 5th position. Only been passed by, what, maybe 1 or 2 riders, possibly only 1 rider, and that might have just been Stephen Frossard throughout the whole moto. So with 10.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, Harri KULLAS there in 5th position, which will be his best position to date. 6th in the second moto in the Catalan Grand Prix at Belpuch. Takes a look over his shoulder. Joel Roulants behind him, just probably grabs a towel, maybe just gives him a bit of a wave as well. Just say, hey, I'm coming after you, boy. And you better be prepared because it's going to be through this wave section. Look at the car get underway here for the first race of the day. There's Van Hoorbeek. They line up from the inside how they qualified. So we've got Van Hoorbeek, but immediately one of the KTMs, Jeffrey, was it Sean Simpson actually, number 11. comes out of the start in first position, and he's got the CLS Kawasaki behind him of either Jeremy Van Horbik or Stephen Frossard. Down into turn 2, we've got a bit of bar banging going on between Marvin Muscan and one of the Gariboldi Yamahas. Coming down with a virus or something like that, but he said the last couple of weeks he's just feels himself just feeling a little bit drained, and he's going to go get some tests this week or next week just to make sure that everything's working okay, and hopefully it will be nothing too serious, but maybe a good start will pep him up, certainly for the first part of this race, and keep him out there. But as we saw a moment ago, we've got Stephen Frossard on the CLS Kawasaki all over the back of Sean Simpson's Red Bull KTM. Van Horbik doing a great job hanging on in 4th position as we look at Harri Kullas and Jean Roulants there in 6th and 7th position. That's Kullas there, the Finn. So he's going to be buoyed by the Finnish support here this weekend. Obviously, Norway, Denmark, Sweden and Finland. A lot of fans coming out this weekend to support all the Scandinavian riders. And we saw from the opening shots, the hill people out on the cliff face that overlooks this natural circuit. Way down the order in 21st position. So the Tech Europe Suzuki teammate to Ken Roxon not having a good start here, Tony. It's finished 4th, took his best qualifying position yesterday in the MX2 qualifying heat. Sean Simpson now coming the pressure from Jean Roulants and Charlier there in the blue on the Gariboldi Yamaha. So Simpson going from leading.
That'll be a tough one.
Absolutely. 5-second forward. One rider tried to go too early. That was Frossard or Van Horbik, I think, up the inside on the Kawasaki. But look at that. Jeffrey Hurling sweeping around the outside on the 111 Red Bull KTM. And is that his teammate there? Right, Marvin Muscat and Hurling. And then, watching that off that first jump in the veterans race. And his team there and all the Monster Energy guys, they had a big do-over in the go-kart thing just across here on Friday. And he won that race there and looking to score good points. There is Harri Kullas now on the Gariboldi Yamaha machine in green, having a good ride there in 6th place. Nichols still 7th, Tonus now 8th, Krumov 9th. Oh, there's Charlier parking it. Goggles are off, going back to the truck. So, Krumov 9th. Oh, there's Charlier parking it. Goggles are off, going back to the truck. So catching 1 or 2 guys out. And I noticed Roxon in the first race was skimming it, coming wide and almost cutting across it, but it looked like he just landed right in it plumb there and almost pulled him off the bike, and that would have been disastrous for him, because that would have opened the door for Marvin Muscan, who's only 6 seconds down on him, and certainly Roxon would have lost more than that.
Simpson turning a faster lap time than Muscan that lap around.
Yeah, 2:14.8. So Simpson in moto number 1 with a 5th. Just miss out on... just miss out. At the moment, it'll be Roxon 47, Hurling's on 45, Muscan 42, Simpson 34. But as we say, there's still quite a long way to go overall in this Grand Prix. Jeremy Van Horbik having a disastrous Grand Prix so far this weekend for his home race, down in 13th position in the moto at the moment, and only finished in 9th place, just ahead of his teammate Stephen Frossard in the first moto. But it was Frossard who had a great ride, though. He came from 19th on the first lap and eventually got himself up into 10th place. Mattis Caro, on the other hand, had an even better ride on the Motovision Racing Suzuki. Started the first lap in 28th.
It's very difficult, very bad moment.
I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can see the disappointment on Valentin Tellier's face as well, and that's the tough part as well. When you spend so long up here, you train 3 weeks a month, as some of these guys do, probably the majority of these guys, just to get as much practice in this track as possible. And of course, when they arrive here, the circuit completely different to how it was when they practiced here. It runs in the opposite direction, any worse than what you would have had in the first race. That's Kullas off, but he was landing short there over the double over the back there. He's having a good season, this Harri Kullas, consistently finishing almost in the top 10 week in, week out as far as overall performances go. And he's 10th in the championship at the moment. So I'm sure he's going to be opening a few eyes. Somebody might pick him up on a good team for 2011 and get him on the cheap as well.
Yeah, and he's
right when the Finnish rider needs to get drive, and then Simpson, as a result, loses all that drive. And look at that, blasting down the inside. Harri Kullas came out of nowhere, got good drive out of the left turn, got good slingshot action, and then bounced his way through that wave section. And now Harri Kullas is up into 5th place. So Simpson now in 6th. Has he got anything left in the next 2.5 minutes?